Speak with the private members.
Call the member for Monaro.
Mr Speaker, recently we lost former member for Eden-Monaro, Jim Snow. Jim Snow, 1934 to 2025, was 81 years when he passed away. Jim was member for Eden-Monaro from 1983 to 1996 during the years of the Hawke and Keating governments. He was, before he came into politics, a pharmacist, a goat farmer. He was a Queanbeyan Council community worker, and after he finished in politics, he continued with a huge range of community work in the multicultural community, in the Indigenous space, in drug law reform. He was an author, a whole range of things he worked on. Jim was a great local member. He first contested Eden-Monaro in 1980 before winning the seat in 1983. He was a person who never got to be a minister, but when he was asked about it once by the media, he said very proudly, "I'm the Minister for Eden-Monaro," because that was his role as he saw it in representing his community and standing up for so many of those great communities in the area and those great causes that he championed. He was the 8th member for Eden-Monaro. Eden-Monaro is a federation seat, and it's one that has existed in the southeast corner of New South Wales since Federation. When Jim first took on the seat, it was a much bigger seat. It included Goulburn, much of the south coast, and right down to the Victorian border. It was a similar size to the seat when my father held it from 72 to 75. But Jim was a fierce advocate for our region, and he was also a great mentor to many people, and that includes me. Jim encouraged me to move to Queanbeyan back in the 90s to contest Eden-Monaro to run for pre-selection. He supported me in my pre-selection and then afterwards drove around the electorate with me, introducing me to a whole range of groups, all the Labor Party branches while the pre-selection was on, to many of the community groups, to the farmers groups and a whole range of those others, and provided great advice during that time. And also some other interesting advice, like which roads didn't see many police cars, and the advice to always take a towel so that in your long drives and you need to eat, you didn't spill your food on yourself. Some wise advice, but always a very thoughtful and kind person. A gentleman is how everybody I've spoken to about Jim describes him. He was a great representative for our region. There was a lot of achievements during those years of the Hawke and Keating government, and Jim held a number of positions, including as caucus secretary during that time. And he wrote a book about the Keating years, which he published after his retirement. He moved to the south coast with his wife Leslie, who has predeceased him some years ago for the different climate to help both their health. But he continued to work in areas like the Indigenous reform, Indigenous groups. When he was in Queanbeyan, he was one of the people who really strongly supported the Eden-Monaro Health Service when it was founded. And he also always had a lot of leadership to provide on drug law reform. He was someone who will be very much missed by the people he worked with. And I note that the day after I found out that Jim had died, I had an Indigenous elder who came to see me in my office about a completely unrelated issue. And when I informed her, she told me that she'd received help from Jim in some of the work that she was doing. And when I told her that he'd passed away, she broke down immediately in tears. And I think that showed for me the great regard that he was held with by so many people across the electorate. We'll have the opportunity to farewell Jim at a service in Queanbeyan on the 21st of November this year. It'll be at the B in Queanbeyan. It's being supported by the Eden-Monaro FEC and by the Queanbeyan Council in providing the venue. It's a great opportunity for our community to say goodbye to Jim. I pass on my condolences to all of Jim's family. Natasha, one of his daughters, predeceased him, but Ben, Catherine, Amanda and their families, my thoughts are with you, as are the thoughts of my family and all the people of Eden-Monaro.